Welcome everyone. Thanks for jumping on the webinar today. Just give me a few minutes and we'll kick things off. Just waiting for the team from AML Assured to tune in and we'll be off and running.
Hey guys, hey Aaron, how are you? Morning Aaron, morning everyone.
Hey guys.
Got a few people in here.
Yeah, we've got a few coming in. They're all streaming in now, so I think let's kick things off. All right. Yeah, welcome everyone. Really excited to be here. We thought it would be great to start off our partnership with AML Assured by doing a co-hosted webinar. As everyone knows, Tranche 2 is well and truly on its way. And the thing we've been finding over the last few months is that a lot of agencies are still, maybe a little bit underprepared, and we wanted to partner up with the team at AML Assured to walk through exactly what your agency needs to do, how to prepare properly, how to get compliant without adding unnecessary admin or disrupting your workflows. So today, what we're going to cover is we're going to be covering the steps you need to take to navigate Tranche 2 and what it actually means for your agency. We're going to look at what your agency needs to do to comply. We're going to take a quick sneak peek at the Aro AML Assured integration and how it's going to fit in with your workflow, and show you a little bit of a preview of how that is going to look inside the Aro system. And then we'll have a bit of a Q&A at the end for some more questions. A little bit of housekeeping. You can see on the screen, we are recording this session and it's going to be automatically sent out to you when we finish up. Any questions, please drop them into the Q&A section. If there's an opportunity, we will answer as we go, but more than likely we'll wait till the end and through them all. If anything doesn't get answered, we'll try and send something out with some additional answers there. Mics are all muted, so there's no audio from any of the attendees. Yeah, we'll hopefully get through all of those questions. And yeah, like I said, just chuck them in the Q&A and we'll go from there. Now, who have we got? So we've got myself, Aaron. I'm CEO of Aro Software, and we have the gurus of compliance and all things AML and KYC from the AML Assured team. So we have co-founders Max and Miles from their team. They know their stuff, and we're really excited to be partnering with them to bring this integration. We've picked them because of their knowledge and their commitment to the space. They are real estate focused, real estate agents and business broker focused, and they're on a mission to make this as simple and as smooth as possible. They've even gone above and beyond for Aro customers. We've got an exclusive arrangement with them where they're offering free access up until July 1, so you can get in there, get comfortable with the system, leverage their system, their team, their expertise between now and then, to make this transition as, which is a daunting transition, but to hopefully make it as simple as possible. Okay. Oh, good. Now, through today's webinar, we're going to be running a couple polls. So we'll just go ahead and start the first one. The first one's a nice, simple one. It is just looking at where are you right now, just trying to get a gauge of where everyone's at, where your headspace is at. There's up in the top left of the webinar screen, there'll be a little polls tab somewhere there. If you click on that, it should have popped up now. Just a nice, easy, multiple choice question, nothing too tricky. And yeah, there'll be a couple more, which we'll announce through the webinar for you to have a go at as well. Very good. All right, I'm going to pass it over to the team, over to the very capable hands of Miles and Max, and let them get into things. And I'll chime back in a little bit later in the webinar to cover off the integration. Thanks, guys. Over to you.
Thanks, Aaron, and hello, everybody. My name's Max, co-founder of AML Assured, and this is Miles. We are the two co-founders of Australia's first AML compliance solution built specifically for the real estate sector. So as Aaron kind of touched on a bit, obviously this is a time where things can be quite daunting, and obviously I'm sure a large number of you have had a look at the new legislations that AUSTRAC is putting out and probably hearing a lot of noise in the space right now on finding a solution and I guess understanding obviously all the obligations that AUSTRAC require of everybody. And I think our biggest key focus is to, again, as we are purely focused on one sector, and that is you guys, that is our goal. So we really want to make sure that this isn't going to be the hardest thing to get through this year, but actually one of the easiest. So again, partnering with an amazing platform like Aro is a step, I guess, in that direction of making this as seamless as possible. And I think after today's session, we really do hope you get a good understanding on what Tranche 2 is, what you're required of, and then also it's not that scary, So once you've really, got a lot of things in place, and I guess at the end of the day, you found a solution that does work for you guys. I think it'll be a bit of a walk in the park. But look, I'll pass it over to Miles now, where he will talk a little bit about Tranche 2 itself, how it affects every agency and broker across Australia, and then after that, then we'll dive a little bit into the integration itself, as well as a little bit more about AML Assured and how we again differentiate ourselves in the space with purely focusing in the real estate sector. But thank you again for everyone joining. It means the world. And we're looking forward to going through this with you, everyone.
Beautiful. Thanks, Max. So a lot of questions around what actually is Tranche 2. A bit of a background around these new legislations that came out. So Tranche 1 was about 20 years ago from the government. So they were looking into banks, financial institutions, wagering industries. And now they've taken their aim not off them solely, but they're introducing another cohort of sectors. So that's being real estate agencies, lawyers, accountants, conveyancers, and dealers of precious stones. A bit of a background in why this has come about in the real estate sector. So the real estate sector globally is seen as a high-risk money laundering potential, given that it is the one transaction and can be a substantial amount of money moved within that one transaction. So really, AUSTRAC are just looking to close the gaps wherever they may be. This is not saying that any potential person that you're dealing with in your day-to-day is going to be a high-risk customer. It's going to be a very, very limited amount of people who actually come out as high risk. So we're not trying to scare you off or shun the idea of this being a major impact in your day-to-day operations. Just a bit of a background of what's going to come into place. So some of the things that are going to come into place that we'll touch on in the next few slides are things that are going to look a bit different in your day-to-day. So that can be the client verification, having your staff, all of your staff members trained, and then record keeping. So keeping all those records on files from the verifications for a 7-year period. So in terms of the deadline is July the 1st. AUSTRAC did open their enrollments to the new Tranche 2 sectors on 31st of March. So you did have the opportunity to enroll there. No pressure if you haven't done it. You've still got until that 1st of July. In terms of deadline being real, so the daily penalties for non-enrollment and still providing the designated services are $3,700 for individuals and then up to $18,700 for businesses. So it is worth jumping on that enrollment as you feel comfortable. If you want to jump on and do some training, get a bit more of an understanding of what's going to be asked for you, that is absolutely no drama. And I think the major thing is that you guys aren't alone in this. There are over 40,000 real estate businesses that are going to be affected, and there will be pretty sufficient training out there and guidance from AUSTRAC and also other providers like us that are always here for a call, for an email, for a chat. If you are feeling concerned, always just reach out. Beautiful. So what this actually means for you and your operational impact from day to day. So what AUSTRAC's asking, as we touched on, these are the key obligations that AUSTRAC is demanding from every designated service. So the first one is enrolling with AUSTRAC, as we touched on. That does start on the 31st of March, and you do have up until the 1st of July to enroll with AUSTRAC. Second one is the verify your client identities. So there's two sections here. There is the KYC and the KYB. So the KYC is know your customer. This is as simple as sending your customer a link to verify who you're dealing with. In the background, you will need to be running multiple verification checks against government databases, and also cross-checking that customer against sanctions and politically exposed persons list, as well as any adverse media. KYB, this is when you're dealing with a business or a trust or a super fund. So what this is referring to is understanding who's actually behind this business. So you're identifying the beneficial owners. Everybody who owns over 25% of this business will then need to go under this KYC verification. So that can be a bit of a two-in-one there. Your AML and counterterrorism financing documentation. So the two main documents that AUSTRAC are looking for agencies to have is one, their risk assessment document. So what this is doing essentially is answering questions about your agency and who your agency is dealing with on a day-to-day, the technology that you may use in your day-to-day, whether you're utilizing UI or you're utilizing biometric scans to run your verifications. What this risk assessment does is sort of just give you a score on the potential of the money laundering coming through your business. And we just want to stress that this risk assessment and the score, it's not a reflection of your agency or anything that you are doing bad. It is just a reflection of the potential customer base that you have, where the money laundering gaps may be, and it's really looking to close those gaps essentially. On there, the other document is the AML program. So what your AML program does is essentially that is looking at your risk assessment document, assessing where the risks are, and then your program is going to be your policies and procedures on how you deal with those potential risks if they may occur. So this is sort of your day-to-day operational guidance that you follow for your money laundering procedures. Second is training your staff. So AUSTRAC in the legislation, it's critical that every staff member who are dealing with either customers or any day-to-day operations where they can suspect or observe any aspect of money laundering potential, those staff members must be trained accordingly, and all the training must be role-based. You don't want to have your day-to-day real estate agents having to reread the legislation and understand every aspect of it. They know that that's not suitable for agencies. So it's best to keep everything role-based as you go along. Reporting suspicious activity. So suspicious matter reports, or SMRs as they're abbreviated. This is when you may come across a transaction where you think something doesn't feel right here. It may be that someone is potentially trying to buy money through cryptocurrencies, or they're coming in with a large sum of physical cash. There's multiple things that it may be, and we can dive into these a little bit later. But what AUSTRAC is asking is, one thing's critical. They don't want you to stop your transaction or halt your transaction when you do suspect something is suspicious. You proceed with the transaction, do a little bit of digging in the background, which is can be very simplified through our platform. Essentially, from the time of the suspicion being formed, AUSTRAC have a 3-day SLA, so you have to submit that to them within the 3 business days. Or if there is counterterrorism financing, those are a 24-hour SLA. So they're the more serious ones. That's more if when you run your verification on the customer, and it comes up that they are on a sanctions list, that is an immediate drop the tools and report that. Last of all is keeping your records for 7 years. So it's a pretty critical one from AUSTRAC here. They want a clear dialogue and a clear backtrack to go back and look if they do want to come and look at a certain individual. If you're holding your reports for 7 years, that is audit ready. Everything's there for them. They can just jump in, review that customer's history, and they're good to go. So that's a pretty critical one for the audit stamping and documentation on every transaction. Beautiful. So what happens if you're not compliant? In terms of those breaches, we touched on the non-enrollment at around 18,700. So in terms of the suspicious matter reports, these can be an 18,780 fine per breach if you miss those SLAs. And there are other common compliance failures within here that all sit around this level. So I think it's pretty critical to one, understand what these SLAs may be, what is being asked for you, and have this really documented in your policies and procedures where you completely understand that if something does happen, not to be overwhelmed, but just to understand how to deal with this. So you're mitigating the potential of these fines and everything's in a one spot for you. Agencies, your agency license may be at risk if you are deemed to be not compliant at all. So really, AUSTRAC want to see for the first, 6 months to 12 months, what they want to see is that agencies are willing and they're on board and they're trying to be compliant at least. It's completely understandable. It's a big legislation. There's a lot of learning to be involved, not just from you as agencies, but also AUSTRAC too. So this is big shift in a day-to-day operations across the board, not just the agencies, but AUSTRAC too. It's just essential to be, I guess, get an understanding of it and just try your best, really. Just understand what you need to do operationally day to day to mitigate all these non-compliance fines and issues. So here's the good news. Compliance doesn't have to take months. This is pretty critical. So our goal is really to be here and to spoon feed essentially the legislation as it's come out, because we know that you guys don't have time to read through 25 plus pages of new government legislation. We're here to break this down, simplify this. We essentially want to make this a no legal jargon ecosystem within AML Assured. We're happy doing all the back end understanding of the legislation and understanding the legal terms, but we understand too that that is not going to happen for all the agencies across the board. So we're here to help digest this and make this as simple as possible and really sew this into your day-to-day operations where you're not feeling any stress and you're out doing what you need to do, listing houses, selling properties. That's what we want you to do. We want to make this as a seamless process for you as possible. Beautiful.
All right, my turn. Poll time. We've got another poll coming through now, everyone. Just looking at what you think AML is going to cost your business through the year. So I'll click start on that. If everyone can click on that poll link and start putting in your answers in there. All good. Back over to you guys.
Thanks, Aaron. And thanks, Miles. I hope everyone's obviously got a clear understanding a little bit further into, what AUSTRAC is requiring of everybody. And look, I know the first time I was reading through the legislations, I felt a little bit like this lady that we've shown on the screen. And realistically, I mean, how the hell am I going to manage all of this? I mean, there's 6 obligations, and I guess the risk of not being compliant is a pretty scary thing. And I guess from all those legislations, I mean, there's a bunch of questions that first came to my mind when building AML Assured. And thinking about how you guys would be feeling in a time like this. So we've again just popped up, a few different things that I'm sure some of you guys resonate with on the screen. But as we move to the next slide, it doesn't have to be. And now you can see she's quite a happy chap. So this is where I think now we'll be talking a bit more about how Aro and AML Assured have come together to, again, make this entire process as seamless as possible for you guys. Because touching back on that point where, what AUSTRAC is requiring of not only every agency across Australia, but every sector that falls under Tranche 2, it's quite a daunting thing. So the integration that we've set in place with Aro is so those identity checks at the end of the day will be that real ongoing, I guess, operational what's the word I'm looking for? Impact that you guys will be carrying out most days, depending on when those transactions do come about, and being able to run this inside your existing workflow inside Aro is really where I think that makes the whole difference. So as we've obviously got up on the screen, identity checks are running straight through within Aro at no other platform logins. Your AML program and training is all done in the one place. So AML Assured is an end-to-end solution. So all 6 obligations that Miles covered previously, AML Assured takes care of all of those obligations. So you're not needing to, jump from tool to tool to, have everything kind of intact and in place. Really, you're just adding one more tool to your workflow, which would be AML Assured. But again, we want you to stay inside Aro. We don't want you to really have to come inside AML Assured, because again, those identity checks are really going to be the biggest operational impact every single day. So if we can minimize the operational burden for you guys by keeping you in your existing workflow, we feel like we've done our job. So now we're going to dive in a little bit about how this integration will actually work and how the team at AML Assured and Aro have really put a lot of thought and depth into making this, again, as fast-tracked and as easy as possible, so you guys can, get on the ball and get set up literally within a day. So the first thing would be is inside your existing Aro account, you jump into your integrations tab where you can connect AML Assured and Aro. In doing so, you're not needing to come into AML Assured and create a whole new account with different credentials and then invite your team to create new credentials. Your credentials that you currently use for Aro can be, again, just populated straight into AML Assured and connected literally by the connect of a button, by the press of a button. My apologies. Once you're inside AML Assured, this is where you guys will kind of first come in. Let's say if a principal was to kind of set this up, or the designated compliance officer was to set this up first. This is a short UI screen of what you would first see coming in. So the only things that you really need to, do inside AML Assured is just your team training, which again, like Miles touched on, is all role-based. So there's 3 different views that we have inside AML Assured. There's the organization owner, which is usually, the director's view. You have the compliance officer, and keep in mind the compliance officer and director for all you, small firms out there you can still be, the director and the compliance officer. AUSTRAC have made that very clear that is okay. So you either have that view or for your agents as well. So in training, a really important thing that we've put out there is one, that it aligns with your day-to-day operational, tasks. So when your agents do come on board and start their training, they're not getting fed training that an accountant would be learning or a lawyer would be learning. Our training is one, AUSTRAC based and aligned. And again, really making sure that it makes sense for your day-to-day. So, how AML will fit into, a real estate agency's day-to-day is super important, and being able to then translate this into our training to make it as digestible and easy to understand for you guys is a key part. So for the compliance officer and organizational owner, you guys will have around 7 modules to complete, which can be done on phone. They're all timestamped, so you can, you don't have to do it in the one sitting. You can kind of come in, do a little bit, and then come back in a bit later and pick up where you left off. And then for the agents, again, as they don't need to know every single thing about compliance, they're only focusing on 3 modules, and they can really smash that out in an hour if they really put some work into it. But again, everything can be done in the phone, so they can do that on their coffee break in the morning when they're having a coffee. I'm a big coffee drinker, so that's probably why I'm using that term so much. But again, what you also will be able to do inside AML Assured is designating and appointing your compliance officer. This is really as simple as kind of pressing that appoint button and then typing in that name, selecting their role, and then email and mobile number. That will shoot off an email to them, and basically that's where they can create an account. Literally, it's black and white, guys. We've made this as super easy for you, so everything is, I guess, super straightforward, and you're not having to really, I guess, refer to ChatGPT, for instance, for guidance, or the internet for guidance. Your risk assessment and your AML program. So everything on the screen here pretty much is what you will need to do inside AML Assured. But again, guys, this is really just like, we call this the onboarding process. So once you've done these kind of core, actions, again, those identity checks is really what you'll be doing day to day. You don't need to build a risk assessment every week. That needs to happen once and done, and same as your program and your training. Once you've done your training, you need to just do that once a year. And obviously, AML Assured will remind you guys heavily in advance, so you're not, having to, remember when you last did your training, as well as your team. When you first also do come into AML Assured, you're not left alone in the dark. There is a walkthrough, so it's explaining every single step you need to take in plain English. So you're not being fed, jargon that doesn't make sense to you. At the end of the day, you guys are trained in real estate and selling homes and negotiating, not compliance. So we've really taken all that compliance detective work out of your hands and AUSTRAC's hands, and then really diluted it for you guys, so it's as clear as days, and not only you can understand, but your entire team. Running checks inside Aro. So as touched on a few times now, this is the part we at AML Assured and Aro have really focused on speed tracking for you guys. So I'm sure you guys currently know the display you're seeing on the screen, and when you have, let's say, a buyer and a seller inside Aro, by the click of a button, you guys can really run those AML checks. So what we've done is the heavy lifting that would pick up on our system. And again, we would run those background checks and do all that detective work. And then once we've done our detective work on our end, it pop up as AML verified, and you get a nice, beautiful green tick. So you guys can pretty much carry on. It's really as simple as this, guys, especially when you have a tool that's, integrated with your existing day-to-day CRM. So again, the real main heavy lifting is only at the start. And again, it's not heavy lifting. Myself, Miles, and our team are literally, support is a massive thing for us. So we are a phone call away. You can jump on a demo. We're happy to walk you guys through even further on how this will work. So we really don't just want to kind of give you a solution and then you hear crickets. We understand that there's more to this, and there's going to be many, many questions and things that come up when dealing with your customers, your existing customers, and understanding the platform, whether it's yourselves or your agencies or your team, sorry. We want to be here to not only just provide you the best possible solution, but also the support you guys need to answer every concern, every question you guys possibly could have, to make sure, again, that this is the easiest thing you guys get through this year, not the hardest.
I'll just add to that as well, Max.
Yep.
Just on how this is going to sit inside the Aro application. So the focus is on making everything very contextual. It's going to show clear actions to start a verification where you contextually need to do that, right? So some of the key screens that everyone will know inside Aro, so things like the listing detail screen, the screens where you prep and modify contracts or offer details, as well as for anyone using our proposal system, then flowing into listing agreements, it'll sit in those areas as well. And as the guys have touched on, it's going to be extremely simple to start that process. to see that that process has finished. There'll be notifications externally to the Aro platform as well. But if you are looking at the screen inside Aro, you'll be able to see that verification status, as well as if something does go amiss, or if there's some sort of warning there, you'll be able to see that as well. And then on top of that, by navigating to an individual contact or buyer or seller to their actual profile inside the CRM, you'll be able to see verifications, past verifications as well. They're, over a period of time, there can be multiple across different transactions, so you'll be able to see all of that from the contact screen as well.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron.
Cool. No worries.
Again, you have it, set it up once, and your staying compliant is ongoing. So AML Assured looks after all your ongoing monitoring in the background. So you're not having to, I guess, again, go in and check everything. We also provide you, I guess, all the notifications that your customers need, so you guys can get to settlement as quick as possible without slowing any deals down or transactions down.
So just one more thing, sorry to butt in, Max. We are going to have at least one more webinar with the AML Assured team going into a more specific, doing a more specific dive into that integration, everyone, because we're fully aware that right now we're showing you screenshots and concepts. It's all new for us as well, and it's literally in development at the moment. There's no hiding behind that. We are working on it currently. So the plan is to have at least one more webinar where we take you through that start to finish, show you how it looks, and effectively train you on how to do it inside the Aro platform. Make sure that's all nice and smooth. Before I pass back over, just a reminder to keep your questions flying. We've got some great questions coming in that we are going to get to towards the end of the webinar. So keep those coming in, please. Thanks. Back over to you.
Thanks, mate. So actually, as we were kind of jumping in, we did see a few attendees who are existing Aro users, who have been currently, utilizing AML Assured and kind of kicking goals already, we say. So they've started their training, they've invited their team, built out their risk assessment and their program. So again, this is just something to showcase that we have quite a large number of you guys already in here, and it's great to see some familiar faces as well in here. And I mean, this is just a little page we thought we'd show, just to showcase some of the happy campers using AML Assured as of right now. Prior to, obviously, I think that was a great point Aaron touched on, is yes, the integration is still in development, guys, but that does not take away the fact that you guys have exclusive free access to AML Assured, so you can get on board straight after this and pretty much be set up within the day. So when that integration does occur, you'll get a notification and you can link both the accounts, and that's when that webinar will definitely come around, so we can actually walk you through on running those checks. A little bit more about AML Assured. Again, guys, we are the end-to-end solution specifically built for real estate. So every single AUSTRAC obligation is handled within the one platform and nothing slips through. We are built for real estate. So obviously there's a large number of noise in the space right now. People getting recommended from, I guess, quite large committees and organizations. We can't stress it enough. We do call this a bit of a banking trap, a banking tool trap. A lot of these existing tools that have been in the space for quite a while have been built, I guess, for individuals in tranche one. So that's banks, wagering companies. And then again, a lot of the other tools in the space right now have been built for lawyers and accountants and real estate. So AML Assured purely just being focused on real estate is a really key part, because at the end of the day, we are only speaking with individuals like yourselves. And when new amendments do come through, as AUSTRAC will definitely update things as time goes on, we will be quick to, I guess, updating everything we possibly need to make this platform even better and easier as time goes on as well. Australian support, we touched on this briefly, but I think this is a massive one for us. So our entire team is actually based here in Melbourne. I'm sure there's a bunch of people all over Australia right now who probably have better weather than us also. But here in Melbourne, our entire team is here. We have our full development team here. We have experts from the actual real estate space themselves in our team, AML experts in our team. So we have a really strong team who have been here from day dot to build out AML Assured to make sure that, again, it actually is a solution that not only makes sense for you guys as directors or principals, but also as agents and your team as they are the ones who, will be definitely impacted by these new legislations as time goes on. When it comes to pricing, I know this is a massive concern that we've heard numerous times. So again, touching on obviously how we have catered our solution specifically for the real estate day-to-day workflow. We also have catered this to our pricing structure and making sure things are covered from whether you're a one-man band up to a multi-branch office. AML Assure really does cater for any single agency size. And again, so as you see on the screen, basically our terms start from $79 a month, and there's no hidden features, guys. So if you did decide to go with the $79 package, you still have every single tool in there that you need to be compliant. So there's no hidden, I guess, feature where you've got to jump up to another feature and pay more to be compliant. You will be compliant with whatever package. Client explanation toolkits. This is a massive one, as obviously we understand that there will come a time when you start sending those checks to either existing customers or new customers, and they will definitely have questions for you, asking, why am I being sent this link? Why do I need to give you my information? AML Assured has thought 10 steps ahead and basically built out the toolkits you guys need and your team need to, one, answer all of these concerns and questions. And also we have email sequences for your internal communications and external communication. So by as simple as copying and pasting an entire email from the subject line to the body of the email, you can actually start running these emails to your database today, just to kind of, I guess, get them primed and get them ahead of everything, so they understand that these new legislations are coming into place by July, and that it's not just affecting your agency. This is affecting every single agency and broker across Australia.
That's going to be a really handy feature, I think, for a lot of agents and brokers, because I know, talking to everyone out there, one of the concerns is the lack of public understanding at the moment. There's, I think, typical fashion, they've left it a little late to start the public awareness campaign. I believe there's some ads launching in the next month or so from AUSTRAC and TV campaigns and that kind of stuff. But undoubtedly, agents and brokers are going to get lumped with the complaints from the consumer that isn't aware of why they're asking for all of this information, why they're having to go through the process of doing this verification. So I know there's going to be some government provided resources, but any resources you guys are providing as well that the agents are going to be able to pass on to hopefully educate the buyer and the seller as to why they're going through that's going to be massive as well. So that's good to hear. So can we just come back to the pricing real quick, guys? The passing on the cost to the client, that's quite unique. Is that kind of an automated sort of situation where the client, during verification, if the agency opts to go down this path, does the client just do it all themselves and it's all handled for them, the payment side of things?
Yeah, pretty much. Look, we've built in, I guess, a flexibility model for you guys, which again, whichever tier you guys do set to fall under, this is a feature that is available and will be available inside Aro as well. But basically having the choice of whether a large number of the, I guess, competitors right now in the space, you have to obviously have a subscription, and then on top of that, you've got to pay for your checks. Where AML Assured has built in a feature where it's giving you the flexibility to actually pass that cost directly straight onto that customer. So right before they actually conduct their verification check, they just basically fix up that bill so you guys can just proceed with that, I guess, that subscription. So if you did, let's say, fall under $79 a month tier, which is called the Compliance Lite, basically you've got everything you need and there's no other hidden fees around that to basically stay compliant. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Aaron. That is definitely a new that we do offer, and we've heard mixed things about it. Some agencies will use it, some won't. But again, it's just one less, I guess, burden to carry from a financial point of view, to make, I guess, this rollout as easy as possible for you guys. Another key.
For sure.
Sorry, Aaron, you go.
Yeah. No, you go.
Another key, a really important thing I do want to touch on, as I know it is a concern for a large number of principals out there, is all of our data is stored here in Australia, guys. We're not shipping that off anywhere else. That is being stored here in Australia with AWS. And again, I think obviously we are dealing with very sensitive information, and no one will have access to that besides the compliance officer as well as the organization owner. And it's not getting passed through to your agents or anything like that. Everything is well kept here in the system, and again, onshore. So that's not getting moved around.
And to touch on that too, sorry, Aaron, just touch on that a bit more. Everything is all encrypted. So when you are sending those KYC links to the customers, all those are encrypted end to end. So we're coming across from privacy and all safety angles here. Like Max said, all stored in Australia with AWS, the leaders in hosting data. And yeah, those links that are sent out to the customers are definitely encrypted and end to end.
Yeah. Awesome. Very good. Everyone, there's some questions streaming through at the moment. There's a lot of questions coming through. There's quite a few relating to pricing. The guys at AML Assured, they've got a few different packages, and the cost per verification, it varies because there's inclusions in those packages. Rather than go through all of that, what we're going to do at the end of this webinar, it'll take you straight to a link that is essentially a link with access to their website with completely transparent pricing. The guys are completely open around those costs, so you can go and see that. You're also going to have a link to book in a demo or a call with the team, as well as a link to get started and take advantage of that no upfront cost through to July 1 offer that they're giving all of our Aro users. So that'll be on that page. And that's going to be a great next step to take to get clarity around pricing, and to make sure you know what it's going to cost your agency, because it does vary just depending on your volume that you're doing and what you want to commit to on a month by month basis. Couple other things I just want to tick off just to make sure we're not left with too many questions at the end as well. One of the questions that's come through a few times is, what is Aro going to charge for this facility? We are not going to charge anything. It is a standard integration in all of our plans. There's no cost from us. Another question is, does it get paid through Aro? No, it does not. We are not taking any money for the verification process. We're not skimming off the top. We're not taking a commission for what the AML Assured team is doing. We have a completely unbiased approach to these kind of integrations, where we just want to give our agents the best options that are available in the market, educate you as well as we can on why we believe they're the best options, and then let you go about choosing the best option for your business. So we do not take any commission or fees, or charge the amount through our platform and then buy it back off AML Assured at some wholesale amount. That's not how we operate. So all good. Back over to you guys. We'll get through the rest of the questions at the end of the webinar.
Now there's some great ones in there. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. Oh, we've actually got a poll now. So back over to you, Aaron.
Back over to me. Yeah, poll starting. I'll turn it on now. Just want to get a bit of a feel for what's next. So after today, what's your next move? I'm turning it on right now. Should be coming through now if everyone can click through to that poll and put your answers in. Cheers.
So guys, basically there's 3 things to do before you close your laptop today. Again, I think taking advantage of AML Assured and Aro's free access is a massive one. So basically getting on board free of charge. We're not asking for any credit card details. We're not asking for, I guess, any lock-in contracts. It's basically come on board, create an account, and you can actually start inviting your team, starting your team training, and then building out your risk assessment and your program. And like Aaron touched on as well, we're more than happy to take you guys through another walkthrough of actually the platform itself, and also kind of give you a catered pricing on what we best believe is best suited for you guys, as it is, again, it really varies based on the size of your team, the number of transactions you're doing a month. And yes, but again, connecting it to Aro, this is something that is yet to take place, but this will literally only take 2 minutes when that day does come. And basically completing your agency's onboarding process, all done literally under a day. So you see, you can scan this QR code, guys. That will take you directly to the to the actual page itself. So I'll leave that up on the screen just before we dive into the questions.
I might I've been going through the questions quite a bit, guys, so I might rattle them off at you if that's okay. They're things I can't answer myself, so I'll just run through them. You right for me to do that now?
Yep.
Happy to get into that. Yep. Are the KYC and KYB processes the same?
So no, essentially. KYC, you are dealing with just that individual. So they're the ones that you can send directly through Aro. Regarding KYBs, what you will need from the customer or the business that you're dealing with is you will need their ABN. Once you do have that ABN, you can put that directly into AML Assured, and you can search for that. We will give you a list of companies related to that ABN or the company. And then once you have that and you select that, AML Assured will do all the background checks on that company, and it will populate all the data for you there so that you can jump in and see who those beneficial owners are that are over 25%. And then you can also just straight run that AML check on those customers. So they are different processes, but we have streamlined it to automate it all for you. So you're not having to dig into any ASIC files and look at stuff. We populate all that data for you straight in the site.
Yeah, awesome. Very good. Another question here. This is a business broker specific one. We've got quite a few business brokers on the webinar today. The risk assessment and the other content that you're providing, is it suitable for business brokers as of now? Yep.
Yeah,
Awesome.
look, everything we've taken from our for our training risk assessment programs is all straight out of anything real estate business broker essentials from AUSTRAC, and diluted that into a simple workflow to break down for you.
Yep.
Cool. All good. All right, what else we got here? There's a lot of questions here. I'm just trying to pick the ones that are jumping out at me. We're going to get back to everyone with it in regards to all these questions if we don't get through them all. Can you pick and choose what you sign up for? This sounds like something a few people would be thinking. Like if they want to just do the training side of things to begin with, I suppose that's essentially a big part of what you're doing up until July 1, isn't it? It's more the training side of it and all of the things that come with it.
Look, we are, again, as covered earlier, we're an end-to-end solution, so we don't offer anything as of such where you can kind of just choose to do the training or the checks itself.
Okay.
It is, again, all for free, guys. So if you do, you can literally just jump on board and start your training. But to answer that, I guess, in black and white, no, we don't just offer, I guess, one specific solution to one obligation.
Yeah, all good. You've kind of touched on the privacy requirements. We've got some people here asking you, how are the privacy requirements met? Is there something specific you can talk to there?
Yeah, look, we do have a privacy lawyer on board who does handle all of this for us. So everything that we do in terms of our KYC checks, storing data, how the files are encrypted, we do tick all that off with our privacy lawyer. So everything is met, and AUSTRAC have been releasing more specific AML guidance around the privacy laws and how we have to oblige by those. Again, it's a lot of documentation. That's why it's best in the hands with our privacy lawyer, just to break it down for us, and then we just implement that into what we do for you in the back end.
Yeah. What about there's a couple questions here coming in around the buyer AML check being conducted by their own solicitor, and then I suppose this may be something more so that's inside Aro. That are they allowed to leverage that and essentially mark it as AML as passed, or do they can they use part of that? Yeah.
So this is a bit of a, I guess, gray area where AUSTRAC does permit it, but they essentially need to be using the same platform as well to be hosting those checks. Just trying to think the best way. AUSTRAC understand these issues for real estate agencies, and the guidance that they have given in the new amendments is that given that you are a real estate agency, you are a reporting entity, and you are providing a designated service, you still have to conduct that check. They do allow you to attempt it. So if you can show that you have sent a link and there is an audit record of you attempting to make that verification, given that the customer has more than likely done it with their solicitor, because they would have to do that, as long as you can say that we did send a verification off to the customer, you are still remained compliant in that situation. So you just have to attempt to make the contact with the buyer. More than likely, they are potentially going to do the check as they have to, but you as a designated service have to make that attempt to verify them.
Yeah. Okay.
That answers the question. I know it's a bit of a gray area in that transaction, like moving data across companies, and that's where I guess the privacy issue does come under it again. So at the moment, not through our site, you can't bring in any external verifications.
Yeah, gotcha. All good. I think we'll have more information come out around that anyway, so that's all good. This one's a good question. If we've got a listing that's already on the market pre-July 1 and it's still on the market post-July 1, what are the requirements for agents and brokers from an AML point of view? Do they need to do a verification even though it was listed prior to that?
No, you're already involved in that transaction. So after July 1, all the transactions.
If the buyer comes in after, you'd have to do it on the buyer side.
Yes, you can. Again, you can attempt to make it through the software. You can send them that link, but you won't have to do it on the vendor. You're already providing that service to them pre-July. Same as older customers. You're not going to have to go back and look at all your previous vendors and buyers for the last however long you've been doing business and remediate those. No, it's just new transactions after July 1.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All good. The gentleman that asked the question around the KYC and KYB is coming back, just looking for a little bit more clarity there. I think we might come back to you directly there, Mark, and give you some more details there on that, just to try and make sense of that, so we can get through some of these other questions. No, not a silly question. Is this applicable to property managers as well as sales agents, guys?
No, I was actually going to touch on this. This is leasing property managers. You're in the clear here. This is just vendors and buyers. So this is just the selling aspect.
Lucky property managers. I think that's the only time that's been said.
Guys, I've popped in actually the page you can click on now. So if you don't have your phone accessible right now to scan that QR code, just in the Q&A chat, I've just popped in a new message where you can click through to that link, and that will take you through to the correct landing page to view obviously the integration itself, and then from in that you'll be able to click through to one of the buttons that will take you to our pricing as well. So I just thought I'd jump in there, but continue, Aaron, if there are, because I know there is a large number of questions coming through.
Yep, I'm trying to keep on top of which ones we've answered.
I know the license support stuff we've seen a couple of times, Amy, so apologies for missing that one. But yeah, essentially if they are dealing day to day in your operations and have some sort of impact in any dealings in the AML space, whether it's helping listing properties or dealing with clients, essentially yes, they'll need just the same training as agents would.
Oh, I just got a great question in regards to, I think that's from Armin. Armin, in regards to receiving a certificate when completing, an anti-money laundering and
counterterrorism financing.
I guess module, module. You do basically receive yourself, and any user will receive a certificate, which can be shared to LinkedIn. as well as download it and put onto your website. So we have a large number of our users currently doing so, which is just another great credibility statement, I guess, across your network, and also any viewers that do come to your page where they can see that you guys are certified and trained within this space. So that's a great question.
What about this one's interesting. I'm interested to hear this. How do we get consent from the vendor to provide their personal information to you for checking? Is that something the agent has to do in a specific way before that process starts?
So there will be when the KYC link goes to the customer, there will be consent, consent terms and conditions, I guess, of why we are requesting, or why the agency is requesting that, and just a bit of a breakdown on it being a new government legislation.
Yeah, and then again, also going back into that compliance toolkit, guys, that we can send out to basically everybody. That also has other documentations in there that you can actually send to, again, your database or your client base that you currently have, giving them, I guess, a good understanding on what these legislations are and why you will be requesting some further details from them post-July.
So I think for most agents, at least at a high level, the process probably looks something like, obviously give the customer a heads up that it's coming, as in that you're going to be sending them a request to start verification so that they know that link's coming through. That link is going to include the everything that needs to be done from a privacy and consent point of view, and then maybe the agents can leverage some of that other information to sort of include in an email or whatever they send out to the customer to go, hey, if you want to learn a little bit more about why this is happening, it's not me, the agent, forcing you to do this for some random reason. It's because this legislation has been passed. We have to do this now. I've got a whole bunch of info there if you can read, but at the end of the day, you have to go through this verification process, and the link that you're going to get through the system is going to start that and do what it needs to do, essentially.
Yeah. And another great thing that AML Assured does provide, and obviously it's just on request as well, is we've had a large number of our users as well add specific, I guess, a new page to their websites where it kind of talks about this in further. So AML Assured actually will provide your agency with all the content you possibly need, so you can go away and actually just upload that to your website. So again, it's just another point where you can kind of bypass any friction. So if you do have an agent that's new to the office and new to AML in itself, they can direct that customer by providing, I guess, you can jump on our website and have a bit more of a read about it. So again, that's something that we also provide to you guys. So it's just another great thing, I guess, to speed track things.
Yeah, sweet. We might even, I think what we might look at, most attendees will have a website through the Aro platform. We might look to streamline that a little bit and make that content seem extremely easy to add to your websites. We'll put out some more info on that. I've just got a question here. If I register, so if I enroll through AUSTRAC, I think I can answer this one, so I'm going to give it a whirl. Do we have to start the KYC and KYB process immediately? You don't. It starts July 1. You've just got that time now, especially with you guys. There's no cost just to absorb the UI, start your training, doing all those kind of things. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
For sure.
Good question,
awesome. Though. Yeah, definitely. Any other questions? There's lots other here. Apologies, guys. We're gonna come back over email to some of this. I actually don't know what happens if you run over the end of the webinar time. We've got an hour slot and it's 10:59 right now. I don't know if it's going to cut us off or if it's going to let us keep running. Any other questions jumping out at you guys that you want to answer?
There's an interesting one. From David. What do you both feel about the scaremongering from the larger industry institutions? I completely understand where you are coming from with that question. I think, to put it simply, is that these legislations don't have to be as technical as they are written. It's about understanding what is being asked of you and simply breaking it down and implementing it into your day-to-day operations. I think if I'm going to be transparent, I think the scaremongering is to think that you can't do it and you have to outsource it to them. That is my general consensus about the scaremongering factor. But essentially, listening to Brendan Thomas, the CEO of AUSTRAC, is that this can be done from the smallest of agencies to the largest in a very simple flow, as long as you have the right processes, procedures, and technology to do so. I guess.
Yeah.
This isn't something that you need to go out and hire a $150,000 compliance officer to be doing for you or outsourcing that work. I think the scaremongering is to make you think that you need to outsource it, whether is you don't. To be polite.
Yeah, definitely. And I think going into that is like the amount of noise in the space right now from hundreds of different providers. I think the most important thing, touching on that original point, is just finding a solution that I guess makes sense for you as an agency and a business owner, because obviously, you know, there are huge institutions right now pushing specific tools, and we always recommend to go away and just do your due diligence on those specific tools. And again, if they make sense for you and your team, that's depending on your size of the team or the transaction volume you guys are doing, and then even the UI and how things have kind of panned out. I think that's just a really, really key important thing that we tell everybody that we speak with, and that's not even pushing people to our own platform, but you know, just doing some good due diligence on really what suits you guys and what's going to be the easiest, and speed up everything as much as possible. But that's good question.
Awesome.
I think, Aaron, there's a lot of questions still here. We'll be able to take these away and shoot off answers directly to you guys who haven't been able to get across. So don't think that we're going to ignore those questions. To essentially feel free to book in a time with myself and Max. We are more than happy to jump on a call, run through these questions, and get to the bottom of any concerns, really.
Yeah, 100% agree, guys. We will get a list of all the questions. We'll run through and make sure we have answered everything. Anything we haven't will come out to you directly. I touched on it earlier in the webinar. After this webinar ends, it will take you straight to a page where you can start the process with the AML Assured guys. You can sign up, you can book a call, do all of that. We'll also send it out over email. We'll also send out a recording, and then questions will come out as well from there. I think we might even try to put together, because there's been some fantastic questions, we might try to put it together just so everyone gets to see those questions. We'll put it in maybe a quick blog post and share that as well to everyone. That way everyone can see some of the other questions that were asked and the answers that we gave, even the ones after this webinar that we've sent out via email.
100%.
Well, good. I think we finish it there, guys. You happy with that? And we'll get to work on these questions.
We look forward to diving into some of these questions. Apologies again. There's a lot, so we just don't have the time to get through all of them. But we will definitely be taking these away and getting back to you.
And thank you everyone for also taking the time out of your days to jumping on board, and hats off to you guys as well for, I guess, taking the steps into understanding the new legislations. And I hope myself and Miles and Aaron have done a good job at obviously explaining those in a little bit more detail. And again, I hope this is something that aligns with you guys. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Miles, book in a call, or again, take advantage of that free early access up until July. So basically you guys can get on board and do all that real heavy lifting stuff first. And then again, if you want to do that and then book in a call with us, really whatever suits you guys. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, and I guess, like Aaron said, we look really forward to showcasing that integration in real life in our next webinar. So stay tuned for that, because it's going to be a really detailed walkthrough on how simple this process can be for you.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. Awesome, guys. Been a pleasure having you both on here. Appreciate your time, efforts, and knowledge. And yeah, we'll definitely team up again in the very near future, and get everyone back on and show everyone some more the integration in more detail. So thank you all for attending and taking time out of your day. And yeah, we'll be in touch soon and chat again soon. Bye.
Thanks
Thanks,
so much, guys. Thanks, Aaron. Have a lovely day.
Yeah.